Gilmore Girls and Lord of the Rings. Why were there so many references throughout the series? While you share with me your favorite Lord of the Rings reference, I'm going to share with you some fun facts from behind the scenes as well as why. Why did we use Lord of the Rings so many times? There is a reason. First, the history. Lord of the Rings was a sequel to the 1937 children's book The Hobbit, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. And it is one of the best-selling books of its time, 150 million copies. Gilmore Girls, on the other hand, premiered in 2000 and went for 7 long seasons. And it was owned and produced by Warner Brothers. In 1999, Peter Jackson started to film his trilogy of Lord of the Rings, 3 movies, which would be released once every year for 3 years. The first movie was released in December of 2001, which was the second season of Gilmore Girls. Not only were these movies being released every single year for 3 years, they were owned by Warner Brothers, which owned us. If you had worked at the Warner Brothers lot at that time, you would have been inundated by Lord of the Rings merch. On the lot's a little store called Central Perk. Yeah, they literally called it Central Perk. And inside there, it's the Warner Brothers store. You could buy everything and anything that is Warner Brothers merch, like DVD sets and box sets and pretty much anything. And we weren't the only ones being inundated with Lord of the Rings stuff. Everybody. It was all anyone could talk about at that time. Because Warner Brothers owned it, they owned the rights to be able to talk about it. And also, we could visually represent the characters, which is not something that you can just do without having clearance. Every reference on Gilmore Girls must go through legal. And for the most part, if you're using the words in the right way, they will have no problem with it. But when you want to represent characters on screen, you have to own that or at least pay something. And because Warner Brothers owned it, not a problem. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was encouraged that we do some Lord of the Rings stuff because Warner Brothers owned it and it was promotion for the show. Season 4, Episode 3, The Hobbit, the Sofa, and Digger Styles premiered on October 7th, 2003, which was just before Return of the Kings on December 17th of 2003. Not only was it promotion for the film, it was also promotion for the Halloween costumes. That episode was released right before Halloween, and we in the costume department were strongly encouraged to use as many of the Lord of the Rings prepackaged costumes that you could buy. But that didn't prevent Brenda from having a little bit of fun. The prepackaged costumes just looked really cheap, which is why we rented a lot of little pieces to add just a little extra. The 3 kids in the middle are definitely wearing prepackaged costumes, whereas the 2 kids on the side have a little something extra from the costume department at Gilmore Girls. Now, the girl in the tree is 100% Brenda. She made that tree.